All right, you ready? We'll call the regular meeting of Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 to order. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Douglas,
Here.
Ms. Hayes,
Here.
Mr. Horvath,
Here. Is
Mrs. Sensi,
Here.
and Mr. Thompson.
Here. There a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
A second. Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 organizational meeting?
I'll move.
A second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 regular meeting?
I'll move. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the January 28th, 2025 special meeting?
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Abstain.
Motion passes.
All right, we're going to have 2 moments of silence this evening, so I'm going to read each of them. It's always sad to learn of someone's passing, especially when it is a member of our Madison family. Recently, we learned of the passing of Barbara Piespanen, a retired elementary teacher. Barb was born March 27th, 1939 in Paynesville, Ohio, passed away on January 26, 2025 in Madison. Barb grew up in Fairport Harbor, and after high school, served as a missionary in New Guinea. She then became a teacher and taught at McKinley Elementary in Fairport and at Homer Nash Kimball Elementary from 1967 till her retirement in 1995. Barb volunteered with Habitat for Humanity, the local food bank, and Central Congregational Church. Barb will be missed by her sons, Timothy and Michael, her grandchildren, great-grandchildren, her siblings, and her friends. All of us at Madison Schools extend our deepest and most sincere sympathy to Barb's family and friends. It's always sad to learn of someone's passing, especially when it's a member of our Madison family. Recently, we learned of the passing of Patricia C.Z. Stafford, a retired Madison elementary teacher. Pat was born on February 6, 1950 in Geneva, Ohio, and passed away on February 4th, 2025. Pat was a 1968 graduate of Madison High School and went on to graduate from Ohio State University and was a beloved second grade teacher at Redbird Elementary School for 30 years. Pat loved to travel and was a volunteer at the Madison Food Bank and a supporter of the Madison Historical Society and the Madison Food Bank. Pat will be missed by her husband Arthur, her sisters, her niece and nephews, and grandnieces, as well as many friends and former students. All of us at Madison Schools extend our deepest and most sincere sympathy to Pat's family and friends. Mrs. CZ was my first grade teacher right here in this building down that hallway. She was a very good teacher, and I also knew her through my work with the Madison Library Board because she often coordinated with us for things for the food bank. So very nice lady, very good teacher. She'll be greatly missed.
I know the high school's organizing a canned food drive in her honor. And it's Joe White, our mechanic, was also one of her students. And when she passed, I got this text with tears, and he goes, "I've never forwarded an obituary before like this." And he said, he talked to me the next day and he said, for every can they turn in, I'm going to donate $1 to the food bank. And he goes, this was the only teacher that ever made me a volunteer, like a aide, helper in the classroom.
Aw.
So, she really had an impact on her students.
Are there any board members wishing to give a report this evening? Right.
I do just want to very quickly point out, our cover today is from a kindergartner at South Elementary. Somebody help me with this last name. It's Ava Shahulik.
Yeah.
All right, and right there it is.
Really cool.
Yes.
And she did a nice job, very nice job. Thank you, Ava.
All right, we have one member of the public who's registered to speak this evening, so we'll recognize Mike Hughes. You'll have 5 minutes. If you could state your name and address for the board, please.
Hey, Michael Hughes. I live at 6282 Kirkwall Street over here in Madison, right around the corner. If I can take a second to kind of, my request came as a representative of the, actually, let me start by this. Mr. Douglas, esteemed members of the board, community members, thank you for giving me a few minutes to talk to you guys about something that I think has been nagging some of the community members a little bit. It's nothing bad. It's just more of an inquiry. And I do have some background on it. But I'm not going to be talking as, like I had said before, as a representative of the Post, because I think you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys had come to some agreement that we wouldn't talk about this stuff today. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
I want to organize a meeting. I
Yeah.
could try and call this morning to try and set that meeting up.
Yeah,
as well.
that's fine.
So,
No,
yeah,
no,
because for full disclosure, I just came on board with some of what this conversation was at the end of last week. So.
yeah, it's okay. It really is. It's perfectly fine. So I'm just more gonna talk as a member, as a parent, and as a member of the community. But first, I'd like to wish Angela the very best of luck in your new opportunity. I'm certain that the district and the community are grateful for your time here, and you will definitely be missed.
Well,
So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So some of the community members were just kind of curious on an update, if we could get some kind of update on the installation of a camera that was requested by the indoor sports group. It was kind of discouraging as a parent and a community member to know that we have the means and the funds necessary to have this system installed for not only for the boosters to help raise money, but for community members to then live stream. We can view live stream basketball games or volleyball games, especially for those that can't get out, but really are interested in maybe watching a game. So some of our elderly community, some of our handicapped community that can't really get out. So we were just kind of looking for, as parents and some huge supporters of our sports programs, we were, just kind of wondering if at some point we could get an update on that and to maybe understand why with the means that the system wasn't installed. So that's one thing. And I don't know that you'll have an answer today or an update that you can maybe provide, or just not prepared for that, which is fine.
No, I don't have an
Okay.
update because I'm still trying to understand the whole thing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I am proposing that we bring people together to have a conversation so that I understand the concerns from the parents as well as from the athletic side of it.
Okay.
Okay?
No, that's perfectly fine. You want to talk offline and maybe set up something after this meeting?
That would be
or-
fine.
Yeah, that would be
Perfect.
perfect. That'd be all right.
Sounds good.
I'm sorry, I don't know how much time I have left, but
Got
one
about a
of-
minute.
what's
About a minute.
About a minute. Okay. I think as a parent, you know, we and community members, we donate to various groups to help our sports, help our education, you know, to buy books or supplies or whatever. And I know that the board accepts anything over $100. The board reviews it and accepts it, because obviously, you know, you don't want to take something from a group that's, you know, not well liked or has a different agenda. So with that, I guess with that being said is, does the board has to approve booster groups? And I'm going to use just booster just for an example. According to the policies, the board approves these groups to be recognized by the schools in order for them to be able to function and interact with the schools, kind of freely, but within policy. So my question is, if the board has to approve these groups and the board takes possession of the donations that are given, anything over $100, according to the policies, you guys take possession of it and allocate. That's what the
Now,
verbiage says.
Board, the booster groups, they are in charge of their own fundraising and their own money, and they have their own, they're a 501(c)(3). They have their own accounts. We don't take any possession of that. If the donation is made to the school, then that becomes school funds.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we're,
That's
we're at the
important.
5 minutes at this
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
and, you know, we do have a board policy on people coming to speak, and we do limit it to 5 minutes, and we have to be consistent every time. And I know you might think, well, I'm the only one here who's speaking tonight, but that's not the case every night. So we have to limit people to 5 minutes so that we're consistent. So I
So
think this
if I-
whole
if I-
discussion
if
is
I
just
can-
something that would be better to do. You know, most of the board members here, they don't even know anything about this donation. It hasn't come to us. It's not been made to the board as of yet.
I'm not speaking specifically about a donation. I'm more speaking about something different. And according to your policy, your board policies, you can extend time.
And I have already. That's
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
No, but I mean, you haven't approved of extending time. We've just extended it just by talking. So I guess my question is, and it's not a negative question. It's more of, you know, what role can or does the board play in ensuring that donations to the school are appropriately assigned to the donors per the donor's request or the group's request.
Sure.
Does the board have any ownership or responsibility to follow up on those or to provide any kind of updates to the community on the progress of said donations or whatever?
Right. So I don't know if, I don't recall seeing you before, so I'm not sure that you've, you know, approached the board before. So typically what, you know, coming to speak to the board, it's not kind of a question and answer type session, but we will certainly, you know, address your concerns, but Sean will probably get back to you with an email or a phone call, whatever you prefer. But we don't go with a dialogue back and forth during
I
the board
wasn't-
meeting.
I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that. I guess I'm posing the question
Okay.
in hopes of, you know, maybe we could get some kind of information, because I know I just, it's more of, you know, a request for, you know, maybe that to start that
Absolutely.
dialogue or to
Absolutely.
start something. And that's really the purpose. I mean, I think the board is critical in our kids' education. Not only finding great candidates to be superintendent, like Miss Smith here, but future candidates, and I think there's a very positive interaction with the community, and I want to thank the board for their continued support of our schools, of our community, and assisting our parents, and allowing our parents to have a voice here to talk to you guys. That's it, and I'm sorry, and I'll try to cut it off there, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. If you guys can get back to me, or we can do something offline real quick, that'd be
We can do
wonderful.
that at the end of the week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reports and recommendations of the treasurer.
I would like to recommend the approval of the January 2025 financial statements as presented.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
And Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we do have one then and now statement for February 2025. Oddly enough, it's from OSBA. They had apparently mailed a statement out that was never received, and so we had to call and get the invoice, which made the purchase order later. So there is one then and now statement for February of 2025.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Horvath,
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
and Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
Next, I would like to recommend the approval of the following donations. A generous donation of school supplies from Central Congregational Church North Elementary School to be used as needed. A generous donation of gloves, hats, mittens, leggings, and underwear from Laura Dyack, North Elementary School to be used as needed. A generous donation of socks, underwear, hats, and gloves from Park United Methodist Church to South Elementary School to be used as needed. A generous donation of handmade hats, ear warmers, and scarves from Andrea Williams to South Elementary School to be used as needed. A generous donation of $400 from the Madison Christian Ministers Association, Madison Ministerial Relief Committee to the Angel Fund to be distributed to all 4 schools to be used as needed, and a generous donation of $100 from Karen Wilson to Madison Middle School to be used to send a student to Washington, D.C.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you to the many people who donated. Roll call, please.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Reports of the administrative.
All
team.
right, I have, we didn't have a member of the month last month from MEA because sort of the holidays and snow days and everything sort of got, in our way, but we do have a member of a month this month. And I'll let Gretchen read her stuff and then I have lots to say about Mrs. Kemper.
So our member this month for MEA is Brittany Kemper. And come on up, Brittany. So the wonderful thing I love, I know I've talked about before with this program is the members of the month are all nominated by colleagues. So this is colleagues looking at the amazing things that the people we work with are doing and highlighting that. Some of the remarks that came with Brittany's nomination, she was actually nominated by 2 colleagues this month, 2 different colleagues with wonderful things to say about the service learning program that they are piloting this year at the high school in conjunction with Tim Pura, just providing our students in Madison phenomenal opportunities to learn and grow, not only in their academics, but in working with people and supporting our community. and just becoming well-rounded individuals. And she's doing amazing things with that program. And in addition to that, takes on other leadership responsibilities in the building, Key Club, correct? Just lots of great things for students at the high school, and we're so fortunate to have her here. So she is going to get a little certificate, and then she also got a gift certificate to enjoy a little meal out. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Congratulations.
So what I'd like to say about Brittany is, you know, she's very passionate, and she has a quiet passion. It's not like she, is out there, I got to do this, I got to do this. She just does it, in everything she does. She's created a variety of courses, over the years in the English department. She is always looking for ways to connect to kids. She's very passionate about her AP English classes. And she does it in just such a quiet way. In fact, the other day I was in the building and she said, "You got to come see what we've been doing in the building with the care closet and the cleaning up that they've done there." And she will be back because I'm going to have her do a presentation with Tim on what the service learning class has done this year. And it will be featured in an upcoming newsletter as well. But, that's what we have in Madison. We have so many teachers like Brittany that just go above and beyond. They just do it for the awards. They don't do it for the accolades. They just do it because it's good for kids. And so thank you, Brittany, for all you do and all your service.
Thank you, Brittany. Brittany, do you mind if I ask a quick question? So like with our care closet, do you see basically students that visit the care closet? Do you have students that come daily, weekly? I mean, how much?
So it was something that pre-existed and it was in a smaller room. So MSL, Madison Service Learning, we took it on with Key Club, my Key Club kids are helping too, to make it bigger and expand it and make it more accessible. So we are revamping the room, we've built racks, there's painting murals, making it more friendly to people with more goods in it. We're gonna leave it up to the student center to run it as far as like what students, but the goal is for any student who has any need.
Is it currently open now?
Yeah, it's not fully finished yet, like
Sure.
the mural to paint and everything, but the clothes are hanging and accessible and organized by size. So anytime anyone has any need. we can stop.
And then in our care closet, do you also offer toiletries and things?
Yes, our E-Club president is planning to host a toiletry drive.
Wonderful, wonderful. And have you seen, with as long as you've been involved with it, much participation as far as the students that need it and use it?
We have seen some use, like when we're just physically in the room doing the construction and everything. And I know there is any, because I know
Oh, yeah.
as we were doing it, like we get notes of like, well, can we get in and get the clothes and everything? But like I said, as far as the running it, and we're gonna leave the.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I was just curious as to how, how much the kids have embraced, and how
Yeah.
comfortable they feel coming to.
Yeah, and our goal is to make it more comfortable and casual. I mean, it
Yeah.
could be something as simple as you got paint on your shirt and art.
Right.
The shirt to put on.
Yes. Well,
I
thank
actually
you.
started it when I was at the high school. So that was 7 years ago. And a lot of things that happen are with a guidance counselor. So when the guidance counselors, school counselors, excuse me, are aware of students that are in need, then they kind of do it discreetly. And there was just we always had somebody, that maybe if they hadn't had their hadn't had laundry done or things like that, we had, so I think a lot of that, being discreet comes from the school counselors.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sorry. Now that you say that, I do
Yeah.
remember that you were involved in the startup of that, but that's what I always understood it to be, was something to be very discreet. And although I really like the idea that it's just open for these kids to be able to come in, I was just wondering if we have many that feel comfortable and are, you know, utilizing it and just coming in when they need to. That was really what I was curious about. Thank you. Thank you.
Is it totally private? I'm gonna ask my question. Is it like, is there windows into the room?
It is a room, probably about as long as this, not as wide as this. So it's
Okay.
like we really want to make the counselors will be
Yeah, for sure.
deciding how. But like as of now, I've seen students come in, have their fans still shut them on in the restroom.
Okay. Neat.
Friday was Project Unify Day. It was another wonderful assembly. Our students on Team Unify are, once again, they're undefeated. They eked it out, beat the teacher team by 2 points. It's just such a great day, you know.
Could you just explain what it
Yes.
is briefly?
Project Unify is a basketball game where our students with special needs are teamed with some regular student athletes that are, you know, on basketball teams, girls and boys basketball teams, and they compete against teachers in a very wonderfully supportive game. They're celebrated, they're applauded, they get medals. Our students were just so excited to be a part of that. And I think it was 2012 is when we started it. And I think there was only 1 year we didn't do it, which was the COVID. No, I think they had it right before COVID. And then we did do a modified COVID assembly 1 year. So it's been a part of the tradition of Madison High School. It will continue to be a tradition of Madison High School. It was started by Haley Asbel Kunzman, and she has turned it back over to the building, and Chad Butler is the teacher advisor, and each year there is a junior leader and a senior leader. The senior leader takes the lead in organizing the whole assembly. So it's really a student-driven assembly. And this year the crowd was spirited. You know, it took a couple years coming back from COVID where kids really didn't know what Project Unify was and to get into it, but the gym was a very vibrant place. And I just want to thank everybody that helped to make that morning so wonderful. It really was a great morning. It will be one of the traditions I will greatly miss being a part of.
Well, you can still come.
I can.
Yes.
You're right. I
Yes,
still
you
can. I still can.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do tonight is just because there's so much noise out there about the landscape that we're living in. You know, I shared at the last board meeting, it's a budget year. I always say we never react to the governor's budget because this is a long 5 months of a process. Right now, the governor's budget has us losing $100,000 plus in each of the years of the budget. I'm saying that's probably a good thing because I don't think, based on my years of experience, the legislature or the Senate are going to be as kind, but I don't know that. I don't have that crystal ball. That's just years of experience watching this process. Governor's budget usually is the kindest of the budgets, but more to be seen. We have gotten a lot from the state as far as changes they want to see made. Parents' Bill of Rights, that will be more information coming out. And then, of course, everybody's heard about the Department of Education and what impact that's going to have on schools. Until we get official information, we should not panic or react. One of the things that did come out, but we haven't even gotten it in our email, I found it online, was the letter talking about different things that from the executive orders, that if we don't do them, we will lose our federal funding. Well, we don't have any of those policies as of right now, and aren't going to, because they are illegal according to our president on DEI. So there's a lot to look at. And like I said, we're getting information every day. We're on information overload. And the attorneys are the ones that are going to make all the money giving us the guidance on what we have to do. As I shared with the teachers a couple weeks ago, what we need to continue to do is what we continue to do well, which is teach our kids. There's, like I said, there's just going to be a lot of noise and a lot of fear. And as I shared, I think at the last board meeting, that if they get rid of the Department of Education, that did not stop. The money that we received was already there before there was a Department of Education. 1979 is where the Department of Education was created. Our Title I and our IDEA, Title I was in the 60s, IDEA was 1975. So the money, and that's our special ed fund. And that's $1 million in our budget. Yes, that would hurt if we didn't have that $1 million. But that is years away, because they're already have the appropriations for next year, and we are just going to get that guidance. So it's a work in progress. My updates will be full of those informations, all that information as we go along, you know. But like I said, we're going to continue to teach kids and do what's right, because we have some very good teachers in this district that are very passionate about doing the right things for our students.
So just on the one issue, there was an executive order by the president basically saying school districts that have diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, if you continue those, you'll lose federal funding. We never had those policies.
Correct.
So as on the face of it, it's not impacting us at this point.
Correct.
However, as you've said, lawyers will have to look at these things and figure it out and give us, associations will give the district advice. But
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
shouldn't impact us. We didn't have the policies to start. So.
Correct. I asked Dave and Jen if they had things for tonight, and they did not, so I'm just gonna go right into my recommendations.
Okay.
Okay. Under the employment contracts this evening, we're asking you to enter into the following employment contracts. Each of the following substitute teachers is approved by the Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve and the Madison local school districts. Actually, assistant superintendent under a 1-year limited substitute teacher contract for the 24-25 school year. Candace Bucky, and ending with Sherry Wood. Employ Carrie Zenz under a long-term substitute teacher contract from February 14th, 2025 to April 4th, 2025 to perform the duties of Shane Hamilton. Each of the following casual day-to-day substitutes for the 24-25 school year: Sean Reho. Employ Mallory Ensminger as a building substitute at Madison Pre-K effective January 27th, 2025. Employ Emily Daniels as a building substitute at Madison High School effective November 8th, 2024. Approve a change in placement on the teacher salary schedule pursuant to ORC 3317 and Article 12 of the MEA Note of Negotiated Agreement for the following teachers who have satisfactorily completed additional training and coursework subject to verification by receipt of official transcripts by January 31st, 2025. Jessica Vojak and Laura Telepak, and to the following non-certificated persons under a 1-year limited personal service contract for the 24-25 school year. And that's Joey Hirsch, middle school girls wrestling coach. And that is our personnel action this evening.
I'll move. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. And the next is our standard motion every year to authorize membership in the Ohio High School Athletic Association. And I'm not going to read the whole.
That's okay, I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Hayes,
Yes,
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, and we have multiple items on the consent calendar this evening. We're asking you to approve the educational option of independent study for the following students to participate in show choir. And that would begin with Mia Fellows and end with Jordan Reitman. Enter into a consultant services contract between the Madison Local School District and Griffin Albert as a coach for boys basketball to be paid from the Rebounders Club effective December 1st, 2024 through March 1st, 2025. Enter into a consultant services contract between Madison Local School District and Ryan Zavoda as spring musical director in the amount of $12.50 effective February 11th, 2025 through May 10th, 2025. Enter into a partnership agreement between the Madison Local School District and Lakeland Community College to provide College Credit Plus services effective May 19th, 2025 through May 18th, 2026. Enter into a partnership agreement between Madison Local School District and Kent State University to provide College Credit Plus services effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And then to approve the student enrichment trip for Madison High School students to travel to Europe during the summer of 2027, accompanied by their chaperones, Jaslyn Albert and Kelly Barrows. And it's through EF Tours versus reading the whole motion. And it's students are self-funded for the trip. It costs nothing to the Board of Education.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion?
where are they going in Europe, do you know?
I do not know that.
And so it's not why is it escaping me, the two chaperones that went last year with
Kenny
Noel,
Chandler and.
Chandler and, yeah.
Rebecca.
Yeah, because they've gone several years.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know if
Barton.
Martin's got a trip. Yeah.
Barton, yeah. Yeah,
I know Ayala and Calaric have a trip going. We have really gotten involved as a district with EF Tours.
Yeah. Yeah,
To
it was,
provide
it
those
was,
opportunities for our students, which I think is great.
Yeah, I bet there is.
yeah, it was wonderful. And before I say anything more about that, I don't want to forget, Ryan Zavoda, his choir, he brought the choir to his show choir to our nursing facility to perform at Christmas time. And the residents just loved it. And they were fabulous. And that man is so enthusiastic. I am just so happy that we've got him in that choir position now. He is just fabulous. And this reminds me that I need to reach out to him to set him up for springtime as well. But then also with the EF tours and the kids that went to Europe, I can't even tell you like how appreciative I was to those chaperones because, you know, that's their summer and they could have chosen to go with their families or a group of their friends. And they chose to take an enormous group of kids. There were so many kids lined up at that airport. And so,
There were 2 trips.
and it was really, yeah. And it was, you know, the chaperones posted pictures every day. Thank goodness, because my daughter sent none. So, yeah. Okay. That's all I want to say.
You think did they motion?
I have it.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're ready for roll.
Roll call?
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
Ms. Hayes
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We have a need for executive session. We have a motion for adjournment.
I'll move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
and Mr. Horvath.
Yes.